Hey guys, my name is Adon. I'm currently working as an application systems analyst. Today, I'm going to show you how to use Git Bash to push your code into GitHub. For demonstration purposes, I'm going to make the following assumptions. You are using a Windows operating system. You installed Git to your machine. You created a GitHub account. And you created a local directory, in other words, a folder with files. So now, let's make sure we understand what is Git. Git is the underlying version control system that helps you manage and track changes to your code locally. What is Git Bash? Git Bash is a command line terminal that allows you to interact with Git by providing a command line interface on Windows. What is GitHub? GitHub is a web-based platform that hosts Git repositories and adds collaboration and project management features. Now that we have a more clear understanding of what Git, Git Bash, and GitHub mean, let's get on with the demonstration video. For step 1, we are going to be focusing on creating a new remote repository. In this example, we'll be using GitHub. We'll simply go to the plus sign in the top right corner of your GitHub page and select New Repository. We are then asked to include a repository name. In this example, I'm going to say CSS-city-skyline. This is a project that I worked on Free Code Camp. In the description, I'm simply going to say, project I built with Free Code Camp. I'm going to go ahead and hit the green button that says Create Repository. Once your repository has been created, GitHub is going to show you the quick setup section here. Currently, the default is set to HTTPS. We will have to come back to this page at a later time to copy the URL when we're ready. For now, let's go ahead and move on to step 2.
In step 2, we are going to be initializing our local directory. In other words, we are going to initialize our folder in our local environment. To get started, we are going to go ahead and start using Git Bash. The first thing I do is to always look for ls, list your items to kind of give you an idea of where you're at in your directories. So now that I am set here, I'm going to also do a control plus. This is going to bring me zoomed in a bit closer in my terminal. Now that I see my listed items, I need to navigate to the directory where my project lives. To help us find our project, we can use the command pwd, present working directory. In this example, you can see that my current or present working directory is in C drive, under users, under Adon. We'll go ahead and do another ls command to list out the items in that directory, and I want to change my directory to development. That is where my project lives. So I'm going to do a command cd to change the directory, and then we're going to type development. Enter. That now changes you into the development directory. We'll do another ls command to list out the items within development. I have various projects in the development folder, as you can see. We want to change the directory to city-skyline-project. Enter. List the items in that directory, and you'll notice that you have an index.html and a styles.css file in that directory. To initialize this folder, we simply just have to do a git init command. Let's go ahead and run the git init command. Git init, which stands for initialize, enter. Notice how in our file explorer we now have this .git folder. This folder is responsible for tracking the changes in our directory. Once you see the .git folder in your directory, you have successfully initialized your project. Now let's move on to step 3. For step 3, we are going to be adding our local files into the staging area using the command git add period. Before we use git add period, I'm going to use git status on the current directory, just so that we can see this in action. As you can see, git status gives us the index.html and the styles.css as untracked files. Once we decide to run the command git add period, we can run another git status command. You will now see our index.html and our styles.css files in green. This means that our files are now ready to be committed. We are now ready for step 4. In step 4, we are going to commit our stage files. The commit command is used to save your changes to the local repository. To use the git command, you need to type in your terminal git commit -m double quotes and whatever your commit is. For this case, we're going to go ahead and say first commit. Enter. Once your commit is complete, you are ready to move on to step 5. Step 5 is where we get to finally push our code into GitHub. Now for step 5, we are going to push our staged area into the remote repository. To do this, we want to make sure we run the command git remote add origin, and then we want to paste in the URL from your GitHub page in the HTTPS. You can simply just click this button here and then just do a shift insert. I am now able to push my code into GitHub. To do this, we'll run another command with git push -u origin main. And you can see here that if your branch from main to main has been pushed, we can finally move on to the final step in this process, and that is step 6. To complete step 6, all you need to do is navigate to your GitHub page, and we will just do a refresh on our browser. So now that we refreshed our page, you can now see that we have the index.html and the styles.css all included in this repository. You have successfully pushed to GitHub. So in conclusion, today we learned how to use Git Bash to push into GitHub. And just a few pointers before we end the video is if at any point in the process you find yourself running into errors or the terminal is giving you different error messages, my recommendation would be to use ChatGPT and copy those errors over to ChatGPT. I found that it was very helpful for me when troubleshooting Git Bash. I also recommend you check out FreeCodeCamp. I've definitely learned a lot of things there, and I'm continuously going back to make sure I'm learning more. They have amazing blogs, they have amazing podcasts. Definitely recommend it, and it's the best part of it, it's free. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys have a good day.